So we're here with Omen at the 5th and final Dreamville Festival. This is ladidai. So Omen, how does it feel to be a part of the 5th and final Dreamville Fest?
I mean, it's bittersweet, you know. It's I still remember how I felt of the first year, and I was just like, it was just amazing to me to, like, for me it's a little different because I've been with Dreamville since before Dreamville existed. I remember the day Cole sent me an instant message on AOL Instant Messenger, like, I got this idea, like, I want to do something like Rockefeller, like, I'm gonna call it Dreamville. And I was okay. But to see it turn into like a, you know, one idea on Instant Messenger to a festival of 40,000, 50,000 people was just amazing. So, long story short, to be at the final year, it's a little bittersweet because it's like you've seen it grow into what it's become. But it's just, it's more sweet than bitter, I guess. It's just, I'm appreciative that people still, you know, some of these people, they were in high school when they first listened to us, and now they graduated college. Some of them got kids now, so it's just amazing to see people stick with you, and you can have, you know, something you wrote in your notebook resonate with somebody that long. So,
listen, you've been killing it. I've been hearing all the verses that you've done with the Dreamville fam, from Got Me, Sleep Deprivated, Starting Five, PTSD, all of that. Okay, but you're also someone who's a sick producer. So can we talk about how that's influenced your artist career and your journey as well?
Yeah, I mean, so I started originally just as a rapper, but I'm the kind of person, I'm not good with asking for help. So I had to learn to start producing because I didn't want to keep asking people for beats. It's too much pride. So like, I learned to make beats, and I actually developed a passion for it. I was like, this is actually something I like. So just through the years, honing the craft, and, you know, as Kanye once said, you know, 5 beats a day for 3 summers. I was doing that 7, 8 beats a day. I was really on it. So, you know, it's fun to be able to produce, but it's more fun to even work with like somebody like an Ari or a Cole, people that you really respect their work, you know. So that's been dope. And just, you know, more recently I've been doing more of that. So I did like Port Antonio, Clouds, and we got more work that hopefully will come out. So
yeah, I'm super excited for all the new records that are coming. But also, speaking of new records, somebody's album is coming. Okay, Granny House again. Finally. Damn.
Oh, man.
Tell us about the inspiration for this title and what people should expect.
Yeah, so, you know, it's for the fans that have followed me closely, it's been almost 10 years since I put out an album. I have songs out here and there on compilations and stuff, but actually a solo project for me, it's been a long time. So this album is called Granny House again because, one, a lot of the time during that hiatus, I was literally at my granny's house. But also just, you know, for fans that have followed me, all of my work, like Elephant Eyes, Afraid of Heights, all of the projects I've created were also made at that house. Like, and people don't know that, you know. So, but the album is really just about the feeling of, I kind of felt like I had one foot in the music industry, one foot in my grandmother's house. It was like an in-between space of, you're further than where you were, but you're not where you thought you'd be. And, you know, to the world, they're like, well, you were Dreamville, you good. But it's like, you have bigger goals. You got like a certain vision for your life. And it felt like things weren't happening, but that place was like a safe haven for me to grow and kind of shape me into who I am now. So the album is really dedicated to just that experience. And also, I feel like a lot of people can relate to, whether they was at their grandmother's house or their parents' house, just the feeling of being grown, but feeling like I'm not where I feel like I should be yet. So that's
I feel like that's super relatable, especially these past 5 years.
Yeah.
And I know that one record, Alibi, you were debating if you want to have on the project. I'm here to tell you we need that one.
Okay, dope, thank you.
Need that one. And you produced that too?
Yeah. Me and Ali, who actually just walked past.
Amazing. And then tell us a little bit the premise of that song.
So Alibi is funny. I actually wrote that last week, literally. And it was just something I was doing, and I recorded, and I was like, I kind of like this. And my homie CJ was in the studio. He was like, you're tripping. This is amazing. And I was like, oh, all right. So that kind of led me to, maybe I should just put it out, because it's not on the album. I'm like, what am I doing with this song? But the song Alibi is just about, like, it's a play on words, and it's just, alibi is like obviously something you could say when you're like, maybe you're found guilty or something.
Yeah.
Like, well, actually I was doing this. But it's also just like a way to write a situation in a sense. So Alibi is really a story of, how how do I explain it? Like, I feel like the album is, like I said, it's kind of about that story, that journey of me living in my grandmother's house. But I got these other records that I've been doing that are like, in my mind, they're like even further detail behind the scenes of like, well, what was I doing in Chicago on a random day while I was in this situation? So Alibi to me is a little further peek behind the scenes to me, because I tell a real detailed story about, I used to play basketball a lot, and I ended up breaking my hip in a game because this guy like undercut me.
Holy crap.
And just my demeanor growing up in Chicago as like a quiet person, you start to develop kind of survival tactics of, I'm just going to mind my business. I'm not going to get in the way because it can lead to trouble. But that suppression can lead to issues, you know, like not expressing yourself how you really feel. And that's really what the song is about, of what it's like to be. I think sometimes the story's not told of what it's like to be a black man, just a man living on the south side of Chicago who's who's trying to go a different way, and like, but not in a preachy way of like, y'all need to stop, but just like, I'm in this environment. I don't really align with that behavior, but I understand that behavior because I see how you got led to that behavior because of our environment. But I'm trying to be authentically me, and that's really just what the album is about. That's what the song is about. That's what me as an artist is about. It's like I don't have the typical story. You know what I mean? It's not a Jay-Z hustler story.
Right.
But in my mind, some people might see that as like a weakness because it's not the typical rapper story. But to me, that's a strength because the average person doesn't relate to a hustler story.
Yeah.
The average person actually relates to trying to figure out their life and trying to like, how do I get further ahead from where I'm currently am? So I try to just embrace the things that could be considered like a weakness as a strength, because I know if I'm feeling this way, it's got to be a lot of other people that felt this way. So that's kind of
absolutely. And then there was one song you performed before that's also a new song. It's going to be on the project.
That's actually on the album. So that song's called Lightning Strikes. To me, that's just a really good example of kind of the sound of the album. Like, I think my fans will be surprised to hear I'm doing a lot more harmonies, a lot more melodic.
Yeah, you were singing on that. I was like, that's him.
Embracing my singing voice a lot more, and it's even more of that on the album. I'm still rapping, but just experimenting and challenging myself. You know, I think a lot of that hiatus was I was making songs that were good, but internally I was feeling like this doesn't feel special. It felt like these are just really good versions of songs I've already done.
Gotcha.
And you know,
you want to push the envelope.
Yeah, I'm very honest with myself. Like, do you love this? Is this giving you goosebumps? Does this feel like, oh my God, when a fan hears this, do you feel like they're gonna be shocked? And I had to be honest, like, no, I don't feel like that. I feel like they would be like, oh, this is dope. That's not enough, you know, like, so I really wanted to push myself, not just to be different. It's like, if I'm gonna be different, it's gotta be as good as the normal me. So it took time to develop what's the authentic sound of me growing and like, but still being at the level I feel like it should be at. And I'm so glad I did that, because it's like, I stretched and did things I didn't know I could do on the album. So it turned out really good.
Omen, I appreciate you. I'm so excited for this project, and I'm glad to have met you.
I appreciate y'all.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.